This ceremony, it's what got me interested in joining this club, becoming a member of our exec board. So that was something that really brought me in, and that's why I ran for this position, because I wanted to lead this event. I think it's a great way to bring people in the Penn State community together, whether they're a Republican, a Democrat, an independent. It's one of those events that brings us all together as Americans, and I'm really passionate about that. I feel strongly that this is a great event to do that, and I love seeing everybody come out, regardless of their political affiliation.
This is, again, an event that brings a lot of people in. It's a community-wide event. It's not a political one. I was actually in the role before where I was the one that was organizing it the past 2 years, and while organizing it in the past, I've had people walk up who have had loved ones that they lost in 9/11. I've had parents that were fire or police department that year, so just hearing people come up and say, hey, we don't agree with you guys politically, but the event that we're putting on for the whole community to remember those who have lost is special, brings everyone together. And in my role in this when I was in the past, I brought in the Penn State aspect of it, as we have 10 special flags placed out there to memorialize the Penn State alum who died in that. So I think bringing a special focus and being the only club on campus that memorializes and remembers them for their loss of life that day, I think is important and big for the university.
We are a political club, and that's our main purpose, but this is by far the best thing that we do every single year. Our hope is that people can put together any personal bias or anything like that, come together and celebrate and honor the victims of 9/11.
A few things brought me out here today. One, this is an event that we do every year. It's a very important event to us, and it's something that really brings the whole community together regardless of partisan affiliation. And two, 9/11 is something that is personal to me as well. I lost an uncle who I never got to meet due to the events of 9/11. So it's something that I hold pretty important, even though it happened over 20 years ago.
I'm from New York. My dad was at 9/11, so I really do support anything that does support them around this time, because sadly people are forgetting about it, even they say never forget. So I just feel like it's good to come out, help them plant the flags in the ground, yeah.
I organized this event as the director of special events, and I got all of the ceremonial stuff for tomorrow set up. So we have a couple speakers tomorrow, such as Congressman Fred Keller, Sidney Gibbard, the UPUA president. They're going to both be speaking, as well as Matt, our president, and myself. All of that I organized. We have a vocal group doing the national anthem. I helped get that set up as well.
We are gathered here today to honor the lives of those who we lost in the terrible terrorist attacks on our nation on September 11th, 2001. The ceremony is a way for all of us to come together as Americans, not just as Republicans or Democrats or independents, but it's a way for us to commemorate a tragedy that has a lasting impact on our nation and has in turn affected all of us.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars.
9/11 was a product of hate in this world, with the goal to crush the spirit of the American people. That spirit is regarded as the highest bond of love for our country and the never-ending fight for freedom. It is a force that is felt all across the world. And although 9/11 was devastating, the country has come back stronger with a renewed sense of appreciation for human life and the values the United States was built upon.
Because we need to remember what happened. We need to remember the individuals that ran toward that danger to help their fellow citizens, to help people they didn't even know. But that is the legacy of what our great republic was built upon.
You come out and you see people remembering the sacrifices of others and what it means to come together. It's just really a special moment. You know, I look at this and I think we need to remember things that happened in our history so we can remember what's so special about being an American. And when you see the group of individuals get together here now a few years in a row, and honor those who sacrificed so much and those we lost on such a horrific time. But you see the good in America, and you see the good in the next generation of making sure that the legacy of those that fought so hard, is really recognized and appreciated. Remember that there are people in this world that want to try and tear us down and divide us. And they weren't able to do that on 9/11. In fact, they did exactly the opposite. And they made a lot of people realize how special it is to be an American and how united we are with the goals of liberty and justice for all.
This is one ceremony on one day, but for some, this is an everyday reality. Some of us were babies when it happened. Some of us were serving in the armed forces, and some of us were watching horrified in our homes. But regardless of where you were that day, you can make the promise to never forget. And this event is a reminder that we will never forget, and the Penn State community will never forget. Thank you.